Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Darien and this is Darien's Corner. On this channel, I talk about food, lifestyle, and travel. If this is your first time, don't forget to like this video, to subscribe, and turn on your notifications. Today, I'm going to be taking you along with me as I go for an event in Seattle. Seattle is in the state of Washington on the eastern shores of Puget, and it has roughly, I think, in 2008, population of about 600,000. And so going to Seattle is not far from Vancouver, so you can actually go by road. If you live in Surrey or in Langley, there are a lot of border crossings around there. So I'm going to be going through the Blaine, Washington border crossing. And through this crossing, I'm using the Nexus. Nexus is a program that is designed to speed up border crossing into Canada and the United States, and it's for low risk pre-approved travelers. It's actually jointly run by the Canada Border Agency and as well as the US Custom Border Protection. So when you go in through the Nexus line, instead of queuing up, if you have the Nexus card, you just go through the Nexus line and then you show them your Nexus card, and that's it. You go through the line, you're not questioned, you're not delayed, and you just go through the crossing. It's so easy to cross. So Nexus card is valid for 5 years and it costs about 120 US dollars to process. And now we are in the state of Washington, and this is the Blaine crossing. We just passed the border and we've just crossed from Canada to the United States. And we're just going to be driving down to our hotel. Our hotel is close to the airport. It's roughly about 2.5 hours from the Blaine Brother crossing, and you can see that we are going into the town. There's a lot of similarities between Seattle and Vancouver. It's kind of similar city, surrounded by water, and it's really a lovely city. And we've just passed some a mall close by, and we're still going to be driving down. I'm just showing the scenery of the drive down to Seattle proper. And so we have, after Seattle is Portland, so you can actually go through Seattle to get to Portland, Oregon. And now we are in the hotel. You can see welcome to Seattle. So we are staying in the DoubleTree Hotel by Hilton. This is a 3-star type of hotel, nothing fancy, and it's just a regular hotel. The suite is kind of very neat actually. It has like a seating, a living room where you can turn the chair into a sofa, and of course they provided us with the normal coffee mix and the coffee maker, and you have a safe as well in there, and a mini fridge. And obviously the coffee is complimentary, and you have some tea if you're not a coffee person. So normal stuff you would find in a standard hotel is what you would have here. And you have the safe if you have any valuables you want to save, and then you have the mini fridge inside there. The room comes with 2 beds. So this is not a standard queen size bed. It's more like a twin bed kind of, because it's kind of tight. But it's okay for kids. You can sleep in, and then the sofa over there can turn into a sofa bed. And they have 2 TVs. I like the fact that they welcome you and they put your name on the TV and to welcome you into the hotel. I wouldn't say the room is kind of luxurious. They actually sell the water. The water is $3, $3 US per one, which is kind of pricey and very weird. That's They wouldn't even give you a complimentary water. And this is what the not lobby area, but one part of the hotel looks like. They have like an office space if you want to do some office work. They have a Starbucks in the hotel as well. And you have like the sitting area. I see a lot of kids going in here, so it was like a kids event that we came for, and it was really nice to have all the kids together, as well as the parents interacting. And so you have the gym. The gym is kind of small. I wouldn't say it's like a standard gym, but they have the regular elliptical. They have a swimming pool, and the water was kind of warm. It wasn't too cold, which is neat. So the gym has the normal treadmill, the leg exercise, and just the normal stuff, which is good for someone that loves to exercise. One other thing that they have, which is nice, is they have a sauna um, in the facility as well. So, you know, if you want to steam up your body, just go into the sauna and then have like the rules of what the sauna rules are. And they have the large dining room where you can eat, and that is the lobby. If you look at the hotel, I don't like the inside structure of the hotel. Kind of, it reminds me of like a hostel where you have it's people going around. If you're downstairs, you can actually see people moving around the corridors, and it also allows echoes to travel fast, especially when you have a lot of kids in a place. So yeah, it's okay, but it's not ideal. It's not an ideal hotel. So just by the hotel, like I said, the hotel is close to the airports. Just by the hotel, we have the Westfield Mall in South Center. So the area is called the South Center, and you have the big mall there, which is actually a notable shopping mall in Seattle. And so it's a big mall. It has the notables, Nordstrom, Macy's, Target, and all those likes, big box stores. Nothing fancy. You might have one or two. There's no high end store in this mall. It's just the regular that you have. And you have like a food court where they have different types of food. The regular types like the Thai kitchen, you have Popeyes, you have the regular um eateries, and you have some American owned eateries like Shake Shack and all that. So that's what you have in the mall. It's actually a very large mall. I don't think we walked through everywhere. You have the Chipotle, you have the Japanese food. I like this thing on the wall. It's like an artwork where you have an actual bicycle that helps to spell the good. It's all good, and it's kind of neat. I had to take a picture of that. And so you're just walking around the mall. Like I said, the mall is big, but it's just like a regular mall. You find out that a lot of people are always in the mall, and because it's also the lunar celebration. They had some decor for the Chinese New Year also within the mall. I would say that maybe the Seattle, just like Vancouver, has some Chinese population, and yeah, like I said, it's similar city to Vancouver. So if you like Vancouver, you like Seattle. In terms of the weather, it's the same thing. It's always raining, and yeah. So outside the mall, we have some restaurants. So we have the Mexican restaurant. We have Cheesecake Factory also around there. So we're just gonna be walking down to one of the restaurants to have dinner. And this is called Joey's Restaurant. This restaurant is very neat. It's very nice restaurant. It has great customer service. I must say the customer service in this restaurant is fantastic. And one thing you would note is that what I always know to know whether a restaurant is good or bad is the number of customers that are waiting for tables. So here you're gonna be waiting for tables. You can't just walk in and get a seat. You're gonna have this that you pre-book or you wait. And when you come in, because you're waiting, they're actually serving you, champagne or some non-alcoholic wine. And that's why they have all these, wine glasses, and you have that big bowl of wine. And this is something that is new to me coming from Canada. In Canada, you have to go to any restaurant and they would, serve you wine as a compliment for you to wait. While you're waiting, they're going to be serving you appetizers as well as wine. Nope. If they're going to serve you wine, you're going to pay for it. So this was something different for me, and was great customer service that way. And then they had the non-alcoholic wine. The non-alcoholic wine is the one the other lady in white is holding. So it was really a neat experience to have this kind of customer service um, in the restaurant, and it's not something we are typically used to. In terms of the ambience, it's like an high-end type of restaurant. The ambience is fantastic. Like I said, it was jam-packed, and you see they just brought in another appies while we were waiting, and that was like a dumpling, and it was really neat and nice. So you can see the kitchen. I always like restaurants that you can see through the kitchen. It just makes you comfortable eating there, because you know that they're not providing shady service or adding something else to your food, because it's kind of transparent. Everyone can look in and see what's happening in the kitchen. Like I said, there was a lot of waiting in this restaurant, and you can see that all the tables were actually filled. People were in there and having nice meal, and that's another appetizers that they brought for us to try. So we finally got our seat, and this is what the menu looks like. It is kind of pricey, especially if you're coming in with Canadian dollars. This is in US dollars, and the Canadian to the US is about 1 to 1.3. So you're actually spending more Canadian for the same US dollars. So it's pricey that way. The meals are like $40, $45, main meal to get your entrees. And yeah, it was kind of pricey, but it's good customer service, so you don't really feel it that much. And it's not everything, it's once in a while, right? So sometimes you just need to spend on yourself and feed the body that does the work. Yeah, and then we went ahead to order that same wine, and I think this is where we goofed. This was where we entered the tourist trap. We shouldn't have ordered wine in this hotel, because obviously we're going to be getting times whatever the actual value of the wine is. And I kid you not, so this wine was like times 10 the actual cost, which was very annoying when we found out. But yeah, it was still a great experience. We had to wait for our meal, but the wait time wasn't that long. We got our drinks, and we ordered our meals. It wasn't that long. The kids ordered regular burger, and this is actually a very nice meal. So this is potatoes with steak, and I ordered spaghetti pasta with steak as well. And one thing about their food presentation was a 10/10. The taste was a 10/10, and the ambience was a 10/10. The cost, that's another thing entirely. So it was really, really nice. You can see the steak this is a medium well steak, and that thing is potatoes, and I don't know how they did it, but it really looked fancy. The outside was covered, kind of crusty, but the inside will melt in your mouth. And this pasta was heavenly. It was like linguine pasta with some, I think, white wine sauce, and it was shrimps and steak. So they had some shrimps in it, and then obviously with the side of steak. It was really fresh. When you eat food that is fresh, that is exactly what this pasta is. And I'm just digging into it, and you can see how smooth and fresh this is. The texture of the pasta was fantastic. The taste was something else. It was really nice. It was really fresh in the mouth, and I think that's really where I can express how delicious this meal was. It was really nice, and it was fresh. It was tasty, and I really did enjoy the food. And I'm someone that's I like food, and I've eaten several types of food, and it was really, really nice meal. So when you go to this type of restaurants, you're actually paying for the ambience, right? And you're paying for the name as well. So Joey's restaurant is kind of popular in the US, and the food is nice, the ambience is great, the customer service is fantastic as well. So really, even if they are ripping you off, you can't really complain that much, because that's what you're paying for. And yeah, so I'm just going to continue to eat my meal. Since this was our first night and this was our dinner after traveling from Vancouver to Seattle. And the steak was delicious as well. It was just 10/10. I can't complain about the food. Yeah, if you ever find yourself in the States and you see a Joey's restaurant, I highly recommend it. But just be careful about the tourist trap. Like I said, don't order wine. Just order your normal cocktail. Don't bother with the wine. And then we ordered a dessert. So this is the cake and some vanilla ice cream with some strawberry compote. I think they called it like a butter cake or something funny like that. Yeah, butter cake with vanilla ice cream and strawberry compote, and it was absolutely delicious. This was an absolutely delicious meal. So did I say meal? Actually dessert. So it was an actually delicious dessert, and you can see from even the visual look is kind of appealing. It's whets your taste bud, and we had to share this because sometimes I run away from dessert because of the calories, and we all shared it, and it was yummy. It was filling, so you could feel the cake, the butter cake, the warm texture of the butter cake with the cold texture of the ice cream, and then obviously the sweetness from the strawberry and the fruity flavor from the strawberry. So that was absolutely delicious. So the following day in the hotel, we had breakfast was included in our hotel cost, and so we just came down for breakfast, and that is the following day. And we had the regular, so it wasn't anything fancy, it was just a normal hotel kind of breakfast where you have the fruits, you have potatoes, scrambled eggs, bacon, sausage, bread. So just the normal, nothing out of place or nothing fantastic. It was just a regular breakfast buffet that was served. And so I'm just going ahead to get my breakfast, and just going to have some sausages and some bacon. I'm going to load up on the protein and then take some little bit of carbs and then fruits as well. And then of course they have the juices. So there was cranberry, the orange juice, apple juice, and obviously there was coffee. And then for lunch, the kids wanted to go to Chick-fil-A. Obviously, for kids, you don't want to go to the States and not visit a Chick-fil-A. I think they've done absolute great marketing with the Chick-fil-A sauce and all that. So we had to go to Chick-fil-A, and that's the story behind Chick-fil-A. What the inspiration was, the growth. So they have that signage in the Chick-fil-A that is in South Center. And this is going down to downtown Seattle. You can see that we have a lot of high-rise buildings there. That gives you the idea that we're getting into downtown Seattle. So by the way, this is Valentine weekend, right? So a lot of people were out and about because it was a Valentine weekend. And I love Seattle. Seattle reminds me so much of like the bigger brother of Vancouver. I think it has more vibe to it. It has more architecture, but it still feels like Vancouver, just a little bit upscale more than Vancouver. And you see this architectural building, very nice. And so that's what downtown Vancouver looks like. Downtown Vancouver also has the Ferris wheel, which you don't have in Vancouver. Sorry, downtown Seattle has the Ferris wheel, which we don't have in Vancouver. That also adds to the comfort, the vibe that you have in downtown. Like I said, it was Valentine weekend, so you had a lot of people walking on the street with roses in their hands and going with their partners. So it was a nice look. I was told to be skeptical about coming to, I know downtown Seattle, you have a lot of homelessness there, but we didn't really go to that side where you have a lot of homeless people. I like this walk path. It has those stars on the wall, on the floor, which is kind of neat and fun for kids that are walking. And so, like I said, we didn't really see, or I didn't really see a lot of homeless people. Maybe I wasn't on the side where you have the homelessness, just like you have in Vancouver. There, because of the weather, people tend to come in and they can't afford to leave, so they tend to be homeless, and that's exactly what you find in Seattle. So we can see some um artists doing some music on the wall, just like you have in any big city. And so in Seattle, they also have like different levels. It's also kind of elevated. Some areas are elevated more than the others. So, and they have the Bay Area as well. So you can see this is at the Bay area, which is Elliott, and you can see boats that are parked on the shore, on the shores of the area. Because it's night, we can't really appreciate the waters and the views, but you can see the city lights. And this area has a lot of I don't know, a lot of, what's it called, like fish produce. Like they sell a lot of seafood menus rather. So there are a lot of seafood menu on that area, and there's the Milner Market over there as well. And I'm just trying to show you how the city comes to life at night. And I love this artist work. This artist, and he did wave to us. Is in Seattle, and that's the Milner's Landing. So I don't know the story behind this Milner's Landing, but they had a lot of sculptures there as well. You can see these sculptures around, and you can just walk. There's some seafood store. You can buy. It's like a mini market. So Milner's Landing is at Pier 57 in downtown Seattle, and the idea is to encapsulate the spirit of the Pacific Northwest with its rich history and vibrant waterfront attractions. And so the Milner's Landing has some history to it about the gold rush, and it has some Pacific Northwest history to it as well. And so you can see some like I said, it's all about seafood. They have like a crab fest going on over there, and a lot of people that are lining up to eat and have fun. And they have a lot of stores as well to go in and buy things from. But they have lots and lots of restaurants that are catering to people that love seafood. So if you're really a seafood lover, then you should come here, because you have the crabs, you have different types of seafood, and it shows you some of the history about the Milner's Landing. You can see the sculptures, and you can see that they have some sea fest, and you can see some of the history, the Alaskan Gold Rush. So it also has some history about the gold rush and how that area was perhaps where they brought in gold from. And then there's also the sourdough history. That's the popular sourdough that you use in making bread. That's also, there's some history about that also at Milner's Landing. So there's the sourdough bakery and restaurant, the gold rush in Seattle at Milner's Landing. And see, there was something about the gold rush situation there. So it has a lot of history, and I think it was preserved for that history, and so that people can come in and learn more about Seattle and how that was a gateway into the Pacific Northwest. And you can see, the artwork, the story behind it, and they had some form of arcade thing also going on there. You have an ice cream bar over there as well, and you have like the kids can come in, go into the arcade, have fun, go and eat, watch round. If you're a tourist, you go around, learn more about Seattle and the gold rush, learn more about um, the um, the the city, and you'll just learn more about the seafood. If you're really into eating and having seafood, learn more about that. And you can see that's another form of artwork that is being preserved in this area. And I think this area was actually refurbished, right, into the current day that it's in. And you also have like the carousel for kids to have fun. You can go on the carousel ride. You can play arcade games and have fun as well. And like I said, it was Valentine's Day, so they had a lot of attractions on the outside. This Ferris wheel was going on as well. It's not that pricey, funny enough. It was around maybe 29 US dollars to go on the Ferris wheel, but they had a long lineup of people that wanted to go on it, and it was like an hour 30 minutes to wait to even get a chance to go on the Ferris wheel. And yeah, and then beside the Ferris wheel, you have the Wings Over Washington. So Wings Over Washington is just like fly over Canada, right? Just like what you have in Canada, whereby you have like a 4D effect of flying over different cities, but this is just strictly for Seattle, sorry, for Washington. So I'm not sure exactly what the tourist attractions are in Washington, but I don't think it's going to be as fun as what we have in Canada. Like Canada, you fly over Banff, you fly over different, you see the northern lights. So that's really an experience to have if you ever find yourself in Vancouver. But in Washington, I'm just kind of wondering what exactly am I going to be seeing if I'm flying over Washington. What notable sites or what notable areas am I going to see? So that's that for it, and you can see this view from far away on how nice this is. And there's also a playground as well. On in downtown, you can see a lot of kids are having fun and playing, and I think the city was actually well planned to cater for everybody. So if you're a parent, you go eat, you go around, and you bring your kids here to have fun. It was kind of cold, but not too cold, but it was still chilly. I would say the temperature that day was maybe around 6 degrees centigrade. Sorry, 6 degrees Celsius. And you can see the waterfront as well. And yeah, so this is like the waterfront. You have the Seattle Aquarium just also around there. And yeah, it was really neat. We couldn't go into the aquarium because it was late at night. And but the city view was absolutely fun. If you want to also take a scooter, you can always rent a scooter and just go around the city with a scooter. There are a lot of places where you could rent a Vimo scooter and move around. And the other thing I also wanted to say was that if you come into downtown, just plan ahead to make sure you have fun looking at all those attractions, like from the aquarium to the Ferris wheel to the Wings Over Washington. And there's also another way to see the city from an height. So they have this elevator that takes you up, and you can actually have a panoramic view of the city, and that's exactly where we are. So you can see the city. I can zoom in and you can walk in. You just took the elevator, it brings you up to an elevated level, and you can see the view of the city from that level, and it's open till 10 p.m. I think. And that is so neat to have, like, and it's free, right? You're not paying for anything. You just take the elevator, go to the heights, and walk around. There's a walk path around that height, and you can have good panoramic views of the city, see the waterfront, see the Ferris wheel. You can see couples walking around and having fun. It's just like an easy way to have fun as a family or as a couple, and doesn't cost you anything. So I think the city was well planned to cater for folks to have them walk and move around and have well a space for them to getting a view of the city. So when you work so hard, you can just come in here and relax with your significant other, or just come in and just have fun. Even if you're the only one, just come in. By the time you start seeing all these beautiful buildings and lights, the mood would change. Any form of thinking or thoughts that you've been having will just change, and you feel happy with yourself. So I like that for Seattle, and yeah, it was really nice. And he had some walk around, and it's called the Overlook Walk. So that's what it's called. The Overlook Walk takes you to an elevated level, and it's open from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. And you walk around at that elevated level and see the city from an elevated level. And they also have some signage. You can even sit down and see how well planned it is. You can see people sitting down, soaking in the heights, soaking in the views, and it's just really nice. Sometimes when you have a lot of things on your mind, you can just walk to this place and just decompress, relax, and have that view going on. Okay, so we're done with our view of this downtown. You can see the skylight. It's so beautiful at this level. So we're back, and the next day we're having a meal at Cheesecake Factory. So this is Cheesecake Factory. It's just a regular. It's more or less like Spaghetti Factory. If you've been to Spaghetti Factory, it's like that. But these people specialize in cheesecake, but it's actually a restaurant. So they come, we order food, they serve us different types of bread. So this bread was actually very delicious. So it's kind of chocolatey, the chocolate one, and then the normal regular white bread. So we did order, this is rice, avocado with Korean chicken, and this is spaghetti with meatballs. And then there was also my gumbo rice that I ordered, just zoom in on the spaghetti as well. So this was really yummy, was nice. But I would say the food was kind of pricey though. So kind of similar to White Spot. I would even say White Spot is maybe classier than Cheesecake Factory. I think the food of White Spot is actually better, in my opinion, than Cheesecake Factory. So that is my rice gumbo. So rice gumbo is just shrimps, sausages, and chicken all mixed together, and served on a bed of rice. And then we have the spaghetti with bacon and chicken. And so that's it. Yeah, that was what we ordered. And then we ordered sangria, but the sangria was nothing to write home about. It was actually poorly done. I wasn't impressed at all. So it was just regular food. I think the only thing that was nice was that they gave us some bread as starters on the house. And yeah, this was kind of just there. It was meat. There was nothing fantastic about it, and the food was kind of expensive, right? It wasn't for the quality, and for it's not an high end restaurant, it's just a regular restaurant. I would say, yeah, well, I wasn't expecting it to be that expensive. Obviously, the Canadian dollars and the exchange rates also impacted the cost, but even at that, I would still say that it was an expensive eat out in a regular made restaurant. Because it's Cheesecake Factory, for some weird reason we didn't order cheesecake, even though it was a Cheesecake Factory. I think we're kind of full and we didn't want to order some dessert. So we went to Bellevue. Bellevue is a city in the east side region of King County, Washington. So it's close to Lake Washington from Seattle. So it's not far. It's the third largest city in the Seattle metropolitan area and the fifth largest in the city of Washington. And so we went there, and we actually went to the Bellevue Square. Coincidentally, that was the week that Seattle won the Super Bowl. So the Super Bowl trophy was on display at Tiffany's, and so it was a good opportunity for us to view. Yeah, so this is the Vince Lombardi trophy for the Super Bowl, and this is like a once in a lifetime opportunity for you to see the trophy, and we're so lucky to see that. There was a long line up to view the the trophy at Tiffany's, and this is within the Bellevue Square in Bellevue. And so it's just, walking in at the right time. And this is the view of Bellevue. So Bellevue is a kind of more tush area. A, like just like you would have like maybe West Vancouver and Burnaby kind of. So Bellevue is like the West Vancouver of the Seattle metropolitan area. And so this is the walking on the streets. There's a lot of restaurants. There's Fogo de Chao, which is like a steakhouse, and then you have the Shake Shack as well. And so it's a neat area. It's nice. You have that Bellevue Square that has a lot of high end stores, and you have another area that you have the high end store. We couldn't make it there that day, but it's also an area within Bellevue. So we have the Bellevue Club. I had some friends that stayed over at Bellevue Club instead of the DoubleTree, and they did have fantastic experience at that place. So next time when I'm ever in Seattle, I'm definitely gonna be staying at the Bellevue Club because it's like an athletic club, and I'm sure the kids would love it. One thing I noticed was that there was Nordstrom rack every single where, and I know that Nordstrom rack also has some like restaurant attached or some steakhouse kind of thing attached to it. It's kind of funny because Nordstrom rack couldn't, they didn't stay in Canada for long because they didn't get that sales, so they had to move. But it's funny that it's everywhere. It's almost everywhere. Anywhere you go within Seattle. So I guess the disposable income in America is more than Canada because they're not complaining. They are opening stores and expanding in America, but in Canada they can't even get a break. They had to move out. And I love this architectural design, and that's it. We headed back to Canada, and that was the long and short of my trip to Seattle. It was about 3 nights trip, kind of short trip to Seattle. Like I said, it was fun event and we had a nice time. I'm definitely visiting sometime soon again. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, you subscribe, and turn on your notifications. Bye.